You know who did
It's all rap.
the best ghost scene? Ghost wife?
Who's that?
MacGruber.
Oh, yeah.
He
Did
fucks
Gruber?
Maya Rudolph. Yeah, Maya Rudolph is his dead wife, and he fucks her ghost on her grave.
I've seen that movie once, but
He's going, ooh, ooh, ooh.
they got a TV series now too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't checked that out.
Hi, I'm Jameson Newlander, Alan Frog from the Lost Boys, and you're watching the Frog Brothers podcast.
It's refreshment time, folks.
Are either one of these any good?
Do you like scary movies?
I don't watch movies.
I have to return some videotapes.
You have a TV? No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. Don't need a TV.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me Shell. It's the fucking truth.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only...
Finish him.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Okay, I want channels 18, 24, 63, 109, 87, and the Weather Channel.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
Hello, and welcome to the Frog Bros podcast. My name is Justin.
I'm Alec.
Nick.
All right.
You just pulled a Del Rey Egon on me.
I know I did. He did. It was beautiful. So tonight we're going to talk about the movie Clerks III. So Nick and I had the pleasure of seeing it on the Inconvenience tour with Kevin Smith hosting the other night. So
that was not a pleasure at all.
I got some stuff to go through before we talk about the movie.
What?
Some stuff.
Oh, do we have news and show and tell and stuff?
We have show and tell at least.
Oh, I got show and tell.
God damn it. I left my show and tell in the laundry.
In the laundry?
Yeah, my shirt that I got at the Inconvenience tour.
Oh, I thought you
Well,
got
go get it. We can start over.
new lingerie or something. I got this welcome. Oh, there you guys are today. Welcome to Twin Peaks book. TV's hottest show. It's an unofficial guide to the show. And for $5 each, surprisingly, the Twin Peaks soundtrack and the Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me soundtrack.
Where the hell did you find those at?
eBay.
Oh, okay. eBay purchases.
The CDs are pretty cheap. And the book was $5 too. I was buying cheap shit. My thrifting VHS pick of the week is The Iron Giant, which probably won't mean much to either of you, but as a kid, I was like, this came out in 99, I want to say, maybe 2001. Yeah, 99. I was 8 when this came out. Perfect age. So people really like that movie. So.
Isn't that heavily referenced? The Iron Giant's heavily referenced in Ready Player One, isn't it?
I don't know. I think I may have watched that once, but
I meant the book, but yeah. Book's great. Movies okay.
I have two more things.
Two more.
1998 Barbie convertible.
What?
1998 Barbie convertible.
Corvette even? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
For what?
For what? $3. That's for what?
What are you gonna do with it?
Shove it up my ass. What do you care?
You gonna put Ghostbusters in it? You gonna put Peter put Janine in her pink jumpsuit in there?
I already put Dracula and the Wolfman in there. They fit. It's picking up radio signal because it's a remote control car, and I don't know what's happening. It's not done this before.
You have a lot of radio signals?
You
have a lot of radio signals in your house there?
Must be. I don't know. Where's the off switch?
That's awesome. I was going to ask if it's a remote control so you could put a gizmo in it and drive it around.
Oh, yeah.
In reverse. Is there like a... What's happening? It's like that scene in Close Encounters.
Basically.
All the toys start going off. Interesting.
Well, I got this giant thing of Charmin.
Oh yeah, for the epoch. Did you get milk and bread too? You son of a bitch.
No, I got this yesterday. It wasn't because of the snow we're getting right now.
I picked up this fine issue here of Saturday Morning Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, what a coincidence. I got something turtles today too.
Artwork by Tim Laddie, our friend, who's been on the podcast 3 times, I think. Check those out.
Yeah, friend of the podcast.
Justin's looking up gay porn as we speak.
I got Leo and Donnie from the first movie here, NECA.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny how like those sets were so hard to find for a while. Now they're pretty much being stocked regularly. So
they keep randomly popping up at Walmart. Yeah. I still need the 2-foot soldier pack and then the human Splinter and Shredder without his shit on. And I'll have all of them. But it's like,
nice.
I don't think I would get the Ninja Turtles 2 turtles anyway. I mean, they look a little different, but
yeah, I think they have more spots on them, but that's really pretty much it.
Yeah, I think they're like bandanas are a little different, like hanging a little different. But
yeah,
also picked up Alec his Wolfman, which is on my shelf somewhere over here.
Wolfman has nards, man.
There he is, right there.
Alec also got a Wolfman.
Yeah, I did actually. I forgot to show those as well. I got these this week. The Wolfman. I got this at the A to Z Comics here in Blue Springs.
Oh, you mean the
Haunted Humans?
Well, that one's not a human. That one's one of the Universal Monsters Wolfman line, basically. Same with like the Dracula that I have from the Ghostbusters. They're not Universal monsters, but they are, you know.
Well, yeah, they almost look more like the Monster Squad. Like that Wolfman looks way closer to Monster Squad. Granny Gross is an awesome figure.
Yeah,
the picture hangs in the what do they call that? Mrs. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's
kind of what that's tape, huh? Nice.
Boy, and Granny Gross is in the firehouse on a painting.
She's back in the painting. Dracula, my Dracula's over here too.
Buffy's here to destroy Dracula. She's a vampire slayer.
I need to get the Burger King Universal Monsters toys from the 90s. So I'll have like 4 different versions of the Universal Monsters and shit too.
You need to get the Monster in My Pocket versions of all of them too. That was a cool toy line.
I bought a Grinch set of Hershey Kisses the other day that came with a Grinch head.
New or vintage?
Oh, I mean, it's at fucking Target for $2. It was
okay. That's what I was asking. Oh, okay.
Think of Hershey's Kisses candy cane, you know, but instead of the candy cane top, it's a Grinch head. So I was like, oh yeah, I want that Grinch head.
That's fun.
I put up the tree. You can't.
I saw that
a little bit in the frame here, but there's photos on our Instagram and stuff. Got some tinsel hanging. The Christmas movies are out.
It's not Advent yet.
And the Thanksgiving movies are out. Dutch and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Very nice. I like how you have a copy of Dutch, even though Nick loves that movie, and you're just like, eh.
We're reviewing it this year, buddy. Finally.
Copy that I'm watching because I'm not about to buy it on DVD. I have a VHS player in my room. VHS player. Now I'm calling it that. God damn it.
You say VHS player?
I did. These jackasses. That's what these fucking internet people call it. Who don't like.
Yeah.
No.
That's what all the kids are using that. All the kids are using that hashtag for a VCR. Tombstone Tackle. Great figure. Love that one.
Are these all new, or are you just like showing us toys?
These are the ones I got from my buddy Chad. Remember when I gave you the Beetlejuice and shit? Yeah.
Sick. I put a couple of the Winter Gremlins out, but you guys can't see them in the frame.
Yeah, they're all on my shelf behind me, but I need to maybe put them somewhere more focal.
There you go. Look at that. I changed my camera angle. You can see the Christmas decor.
Wow.
There's 2 of the Winter Gremlins in there.
All my gremlins are back there.
Just letting the dead air go.
We're man children.
Lots of toys.
Is there any news to discuss?
Not anything that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
let's pay respects to Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, that's a good call. You know what's depressing about that is that my wife had our baby, but before the baby was born, I was keeping up a moving streak on my Apple Watch because I'm a nerd like that, and I'm trying not to be as round as I could be. And I was trying to keep my moving streak going. And so when I'd get on the treadmill, I'd throw on Batman the Animated Series, and I was watching episodes of that while I was walking on the treadmill just to keep it up with it. And then a couple days later, great, Nick's teabagging us now.
Yeah,
Hello.
It's disgusting. He's back.
What did you say about Conroy?
Oh, I said I'd been watching some Batman the Animated Series right before the baby was born while I was walking on the treadmill and stuff. And then that happened. It was just uberly disappointing. But
yeah, I've been watching it here and there, when I don't have other stuff to watch, and been playing the Arkham games again, and then he died. Shit.
Well, Alec and I went 50-50 on that set, the box set. So he kept the DVDs and I got the digital copy, and it's
they're Blu-rays, but yeah,
it's a great series though. Seriously though, it's amazing.
Yep.
Buffy's back. She wants to be on the show.
Well, should we talk Clerks 3? Because I saw it like a month and a half ago, so I'm not even sure what to say at this point.
Yeah, so Nick and I went to the Inconvenience tour, and Kevin did a little intro. And so locally, he talked a lot about marijuana being legalized recreationally here and took credit for it all. It was pretty funny.
It legalized like the day he came into town. So.
Yeah.
The vote was the day before, but yeah, I think he was getting in town the day before. So
yeah,
we watched the movie. He did almost 2 hours worth of Q&A afterwards, and I have audio of all that, so we'll release that as a bonus episode, so you can check all that out. The most interesting part of that was his original concept for Clerks 3 that he talks in depth about, like plot by plot, almost for 30-40 minutes about.
Probably at least 45 minutes. It was the first guy that asked that question too.
Yeah, he does that. Like he'll have like 4 questions because he'll just go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was pretty good. And then there's a couple things there I don't think he'd answered before, so that was nice because I'm sure he gets asked the same shit day in day out.
And let me say that I would much rather watch the original idea for this movie.
Yeah, I get that.
It was an entirely new idea and wouldn't have made constant callbacks. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing Kevin has talked about, was that Clerks is based off his real life experience. Clerks 2 was just completely its own thing. Clerks 3 was originally just off the rails, and then this version of Clerks 3 he kind of circled back and made it kind of mirror his real life again. So
yeah, with the heart attack and making the movie.
I'm going to tell you this right now. My initial reaction is I did not hate the movie. There's things I really liked in the movie, but it's depressing as all get out in many ways. And therefore, the replay value of that isn't very high.
Well, most of the jokes are jokes we already had in the first 2 movies. So that really kills the replay value for me.
Yeah, I get why he made the movie the way he did. I get the story plot points and some of the things he did with it and the way he addressed some of the stuff, but it's
well, it's one thing. It's one thing to do the jokes again while they're filming the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they're not filming the movie, they're still constantly referencing 2 days of their life, decades ago. Like I think they referenced the 37 joke literally 37 times, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, they should have been referencing a joke more than once. That one they referenced constantly.
It was one of those things.
I just don't like this. I don't like these sequels doing this. Because what are you bringing new to the table? What's iconic about this movie, and what do you remember about this movie? What jokes will you be quoting from this movie that wasn't in the first 2?
Well, I think there's some of that's so deeply personal to the director, right? I will compare this a little bit to Ghostbusters Afterlife, where there's some of the stuff in this movie, like some of the things that people are like, what are you doing? You're overdoing it. And that's just because it's so deeply personal about someone's personal story, and they're putting it into a movie that for us, it just doesn't hit right. And like I said, I like this movie, but another movie that I would almost compare it to some degree would be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where that's a really heavy, depressing movie. It's a great film, but I can't watch it often just because of how dark it is. And I've only, I've seen it 4 or 5 times over the years, and I own it. It's a great movie, but this is that depressing in many ways. But
well, I like dark, but I don't want my comedy sequels to be a drama. Like we're reviewing Afterlife tonight too, and it's just both of these movies were drama instead of comedy and rehashing shit we've already seen.
Yeah.
The thing, there's things I liked about it, like Elias being into Satan and shit. That was funny stuff.
That was probably
pieces in there. The new stuff like that, that's fun. The other character that he was hanging out with, I can't remember the actor's name, but it's his daughter's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But he was kind of meh because he just,
Well, they even like
need another silent
fetish
character. We already had another silent character in Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Well, they even spoon fed us the line like, "Hey, he's like your Silent Bob." Like they even just gave us that directly. And you're
well, they already did that in reboot too, though. If you've watched that recently, like they already introduced somebody else's Silent Bob character. It's like we don't need 3 silence characters.
Yeah,
I don't know. The mute community is very represented here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie, like I said, it's so personal, right? And I hate to say this now, but like after seeing this, I'm just like, okay, because I had watched Reboot recently, a week or 2 ago, just kind of knowing that I was going to watch this soon. It was like, okay, let's check out Reboot since that's the most recent. And there's some things I really enjoyed in that movie, and it's a good play on itself, and it's different enough from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back that I like that movie. I think that's got much higher replay value than this. This movie is a replay of a replay, and it's entertaining, but at the same time, you just kind of, it feels like it's coming from just like a very sad place, and not like sad and like, oh, it's like not well written, because I think the writing is fine for the story he wanted to tell. I just think it's like sad in the fact
ghost.
Yeah,
that
it just
like you clearly he's written into a corner into some aspects, because like you can tell that she's a ghost because she wasn't available to act more, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He even said that in the Q&A. He's like, I knew if I wrote a smaller part for her, she'd be available to come shoot for 1 or 2 days compared to trying to get her. He's like, she's a fucking Jedi right now. And you're like, well, if you have to write your movie around a character that way, is it even worth it?
Well, yeah, because I expected them to deal with that more, and other than hallucinating her a couple of times, it doesn't really play into the story too much.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like the movie focuses on Randall a lot more than Dante, and
well, the first half is all Randall, the second half is Dante, and I think that's fine.
Brian O'Halloran blew it out of the park with his performance, at least. Like,
I think they both.
There's no performance issues. Well, but I think Brian O'Halloran had way more of the like Oscar bait type of. I'm not saying it's Oscar worthy or anything. I'm just saying, like
he had the emotional.
Yeah,
he carried the emotional weight to it. Yeah,
he does the crying. He does the crying scenes and then the yelling, angry scenes, and
he does them well. The monologues, yeah.
I think he does the angry better than the sad, the crying, but
well, the crying I really buy when he does it. That's the thing, like someone who's truly breaking down and just like accepting it in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. I mean, like, what else is this gonna be? One of the shortest reviews ever, because I just don't even like. It's been so long since I saw it now, but like, I just have such mixed feelings on it that it's like, what do I even talk about? Like,
Well, there's things like where they're reshooting the first movie, right? They spend a significant portion of them like reshooting the first movie, which is fine and dandy to even have some of the original cast come back. And there's some great moments there just to see those original characters come to be themselves. But at the same token, you're like, did we need that?
I would have rather seen one or two of them do cameos that were just as their characters again, but not like in this sense.
Mm-hmm.
That'd have been fine, like see the smoking guy come into their thing and buy something or whatever else. Yeah.
What?
Just callback after callback after callback. It's Kevin Smith doing that to himself. It's a big jerk off. But like, is it that wrong of him to do it? It's his fucking movie.
But would he have made this movie if this wasn't kind of a trend? Like Justin says, it's personal, but would he have done this if this wasn't a trendy thing to do with these sequels?
Well, the thing is, it had a limited release, so I think he would have made it anyway.
Well, like he says, his original concept for this movie was completely different. I feel like that's what he would have made if not for this trend of this of this sequel that just makes nothing but callbacks.
Yes and no, but I mean, I think where he was at emotionally and mentally from his heart attack, I think this is the movie he would have made currently, right? I don't think there's any way that would have changed.
He's one of the most self-indulgent people. Like he loves Clerks a lot, so I feel like making it more about himself and shit like is just a thing he's doing these days. I don't know. Yeah, I'm so mixed on it.
Like I said, there's some of the stuff I really had a fun time with it, and some of it was just like, I've seen this.
Yes, I've seen these. I've heard all of these.
Yes.
And I do think Clerks, unlike Ghostbusters, really earns a movie like this.
Well, there's real life stuff to it based on the first movie, and like the way Kevin talks about it, you understand why he's doing it. But
based on the end of Clerks 2, the emotional breakdown at the end of Clerks 2, yeah, I can see this movie developing this way. Although it just gets a little sticky with like the ghost and shit. And
yeah, that's the worst part of it, I think.
And honestly, yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked about it yet, but Dante fucking dies. So it's like,
yeah. Well, see,
I could have not killed Dante because that's obviously a reference to the first movie where you originally killed Dante. But like, you could have just not killed Dante. Yeah. He still could have had the heart attack, and it still could have been a drama. You still even could have killed off Becky and just not done the ghost, and it wouldn't have been as gruesomely dark and depressing as it is, I think.
I thought we were going to see Becky in flashbacks or just like memories or something,
Right.
I didn't expect them to do the cliche ghost.
Well, here's the thing, though. I will at least say that I am glad there's closure on this, because there's not really a way to. There's absolutely no need to do another one in this universe. There's no need for Clerks 4.
You know who did the best ghost scene? Ghost wife?
Who's that?
MacGruber.
Oh, yeah.
He fucks
Maya Rudolph. Yeah, Maya Rudolph is his dead wife, and he fucks her ghost on her grave.
I've seen that movie once, but
he's
I don't
going, ooh.
They got a TV series now, too.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
I haven't checked that out. So here's my thing. Like, for a while, I was kind of excited about the potential for Mallrats 2, but I'm like,
yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I want him to make it.
I honestly don't. I really want him to do more stuff like his darker stuff, right? He talks shit on yoga hosers when he's there in person. I'm like, well, you made it, so whatever. I mean, if that's what you think of it, but I think it's like
it's because everybody shit on it so much. It's not what he thinks of it. It's what everybody's told him, and now he's literally just his genuine feelings are genuinely hurt because everybody hates it so much. I think is what that is. I haven't about it a lot.
I haven't seen it, but Kevin Conroy has a cameo.
Yeah, he does. My thing though is like, I love Tusk. Like, do some more weird shit. Red State.
He has Killjoy.
I love Red State
coming out. Killjoys. What it's called? It's another anthology horror movie, and he has Moose Jaws he's supposed to be working on, which is supposed to be another Canadian horror movie with like a crazy moose killing people. So It's not like he's not trying to do that stuff too. I think he just had that heart attack and decided he needed to go back into this universe for a bit, and I think he's gonna step out of that now.
Do you think he's lost his comedic chops?
No.
Maybe he's more suited for these other things now.
No, it's not that he's lost you can go back and look at Chasing Amy. He's always had a little hint of this, or at least he's always wanted to have a hint of it. You know what I mean?
I love Chasing Amy.
Look at Jersey Girl, for crying out loud, right? People hate that movie. Like
Chasing Amy, Jersey Girl, Clerks II, even at the end, like I said, has a drama flair.
But I think he just needs to challenge himself. Like, it seems like he's just kind of stayed in his comfort zone as a filmmaker. Like, his podcasts are all fucking hilarious and great. Like, he is so insightful in the way he thinks about things and talks about things. But I think,
yeah, he's still funny when he talks, for sure. Yeah,
I think this is out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, just to some degree.
Comedy right? is his comfort zone. So his dramas and his horror movies are out of his comfort zone to me.
That's, yeah, but I think, I guess the problem with that, though, is also what Nick's problem is with Afterlife, is like, you've got something that you're going to call a comedy series, and then it's a sequel to a comedy that has no comedy.
Well, I mean, it has comedy.
It's not... Most of the comedy it has are jokes from the first movie.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I'd say most of it, but I saw it a month
too much of it. Let's say too much of it.
I mean,
that's fair.
I don't know. Like, with Afterlife, I don't even necessarily mind it being a little more serious, because I don't think the first one's pretty serious, really. Compared to the second one,
the first one is serious at all, because it's literally a giant dick joke. So,
but I mean, it's played pretty serious compared to
I get the fucking ghost blowjob. I don't know, man.
No, I'm not saying all of it's serious, but it's played pretty straight and kind of horror-ish, and
yeah, just not as straight as people think it is. And yeah, Answer the Call has pretty much lost. There's no horror in that, really, unfortunately. But
there's no serious in that movie.
Yeah. But again, that one wasn't even in the same universe. They were trying to do something different, and that's why I respect it.
Yeah.
Afterlife definitely captured the comedy style of that better, but way less funny, less of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I just think that I just keep looking at all these legacy sequels, as I think they're easily stated, right? It's been a while since they've had a movie, so you call it a legacy sequel since it's been a minute, but nothing's beat Top Gun, right? As far as that goes. And that's saying a lot too, because that's a movie about, like, Top Gun, Maverick almost has more emotional plot points than the original, just based on where those people have gone.
That movie also has an excessive amount of those callbacks that are fucking annoying. Like,
do you think it's excessive?
No, I just think that movie isn't good because it's that. I think it's good technically. Like, from a filmmaking perspective, it's a better film and sequel and all that stuff because of how it's shot. Like, seeing that in a theater was one of the most mind-blowing film experiences I've had in the modern era. But, like, the fucking beach volleyball shit with the same shit, the fucking
no, it was football this time. It was football this
playing
time.
Piano and shit. No, fuck out of here. His love story was balls. I mean, like,
they did Star Wars. They did Star Wars at the end.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Another thing also.
Well, I mean, I didn't have any nostalgia for the first movie, and I really hadn't even watched times in my life. Of Maverick is a little skewed that way, but I thought it was the best long overdue sequel that they've ever made, probably.
Well, to Alex's point, there's a lot of callbacks in it, but it's not chock full of them to the point where, like, every scene you're fucking eye rolling. Like, when they're there, and if you know them, you know them. But at the same time, like, Clerks had so many eye rolls.
Clerks 3 is almost nonstop.
Yeah.
In my perception, but
I almost wonder, like, could Kevin have done something more unique? Had he almost done like a documentary, like looking back on Clerks and working with the cast, his own cast? Somebody else made
a movie that we just haven't seen yet. I forget what it's called, but it's about the making of Clerks. But it's a movie, not a documentary. So somebody plays Kevin Smith making Clerks. Like they cast all the people and stuff. And Kevin Smith even endorsed it and has seen it and stuff, but it's just not gotten big enough distribution that I've seen it yet or anything.
Okay. Justin, are you suggesting that he could have made this like a mockumentary kind of movie, or?
Yeah, almost. I think that would have been more fun and still like hit on the point, because like when he talks about it, he's so passionate about it, like talking about how like Dante is his dad dying like unexpectedly of a heart attack, where Randall has his heart attack that he survives from. Like there's all these things there that anecdotally, like him talking about it, he's very passionate about it. It's very well discussed and thought about, but then the execution of it just feels kind of cheap. Like the only time like I almost got choked up in the movie, right, is when Dante's getting buried and he's like, "You're not even supposed to be here today." And
I didn't like that at all. Like
no,
that
but
was like they'd already done that line. They've already referenced it probably 2 or 3 times already, and it's just.
But that's the one time that emotionally got me, just because he's dead, and like that was a well-placed use of the line. Like I think that was the best callback in an emotional way.
Also, the way he delivered the line,
Yeah,
sobbing or whatever. But
yeah, I mean,
like it's so unrealistic. Like, do you say things that you said 30 years ago over and over? And it's just like
it depends if it's a catch
for sure, but
is it a catchphrase though? Right? Like we still.
I mean, in real life, you don't have catchphrases. That's like it just takes you out of the movie for me.
I feel like we do. Justin still says some random Sean Connery ass lines that like I might say at his funeral if he died tomorrow. I might be like, "Losers always whine about
the best." Yeah, I get that stuff. No,
what's one of those?
Yeah, but
you're
still referencing a movie and an actor. Though.
I would go, "Woo-haw, Justin's dead."
Yeehaw, Chester's dead.
I don't know.
But I'd go, Justin's dead.
That's great. Even better.
Yeehaw, Justin's dead.
No, I think the thing of what I stopped to think about was like, did we need this movie?
No.
I don't feel like it really, besides killing off Dante, I don't feel like it really changed my perception of the characters, right? I feel like they're more relatable in the first movie where they're young, but I mean, that's also partly me being a lot younger than Kevin Smith, by what, 15 years probably or so.
But yeah, I relate more to Clerks 2 right now. I'm that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything, so you're a little bit closer to that than his too.
Yeah, and so I think this movie might age better for me just based on the life experience you're having from it, right? And that's a very fair thing to say.
That's what I'm saying too. Is Kevin Smith, like I said, he had this heart attack. And he has been an emotional human being. He just got a bunch of shit on the internet. He was trending for crying because he was posting him crying after seeing Black Panther. And people are like, "Oh, you fucking bitch!" And I'm just like, "That's just who he is now. You gotta like accept it or not be a real like a fan who listens to his shit or follows his shit anymore." Which I still do, but I like it.
But he that happened from some other movie he cried over too, and they're doing it again to him.
They do it to him all the time because he has an emotional responses to movies, which I get because I do too. I cried at fucking Scoob, dude. Of course I cried at Clerks 3 once or twice.
Well, that's what I was gonna say about Afterlife. Like that got me at the end with Egon, and the music and the but I didn't get any emotional response from this movie.
I just was like, Dante doesn't deserve to die. This is bullshit. I was feeling for that.
But I once he had his heart attack, I was like, he's not going to survive also. So I wasn't really surprised when he died.
No, I kind of knew that. I anticipated that early on in the film. I was like, oh, they're both going to have heart attacks, aren't they? And that's not necessarily
I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming.
I felt like it just the way I've heard Kevin talk about his experience, right, in real life and all his family stuff like that. It felt like that was coming to me, and then when it happened, I was like, okay. So it's not that I hated it.
I didn't know that about his dad, or didn't remember, or maybe I would have maybe seen it coming. But
yeah, there's some emotional weight to this, and I think for him, hopefully, that's the cathartic thing he needed to do and make to be willing to go on to the next thing, because he's a very, very creative, very passionate individual. And like, I can see where he's coming from. All right. You get to the point where you're in your 50s now, like you're on that fucking downhill slope. Like, let's say you live to 100, not fucking common at all. So you've got less time than you've had, right? So if you look at that on the timeline, you're like, you're on that last, you're getting towards that third quarter in the game, right?
Now you know why his movie is so depressing.
Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly what it's about. And so I'm not there yet. So for me, the emotional weight of that is there to some degree. But like I said, in 10 years, I'll probably appreciate this movie a lot more than I do now. It'll make a lot more sense to me.
When you have your heart attack?
No, I'm trying not to do one of those. That's why I changed my diet. So,
when you were asking did this movie need to be made, I think I'd rather see Mallrats 2. And I think you can make a relevant story out of that because the malls are dying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Did he say that there's some kind of legal issue or what was holding that one up? Because he intended for that.
Universal has the rights to it.
Because of Universal, okay.
And
because that was supposed to be out before Clerks 3, you know, that was the original plan.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, with malls dying, it's such an obvious story to tell that hopefully it gets made.
We'll see. I think to your point, that has some interesting concepts that are available to it. Whether or not they're utilized is going to see how that plays out. But this movie is a fine movie. It gets the point across. It told the story that Kevin needed to tell, but I'm more excited about what he has the potential to do now that he's got this story out of his system than I was about this movie.
Oh, I want to see Moose Jaws and Killjoys, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Well, let's see any of it, but let's just see what's out there, you know. But
I still don't know. Podcasts. I listen to those daily, so
yeah, his podcasts are great, man. Like he's so the thing about Kevin Smith is he's like one of us, right? He's passionate. He talks about this stuff.
I think I was getting into when I went to see this movie too, because I listen to his podcast so much. I've heard him talk about this movie so much, the making of it, all the things, being on tour and still doing podcasts. I've heard about it. And
did he spoil anything?
Just that it was about the movie and everything, but he did that before he even started shooting the movie. He was like, it's about Randall has a heart attack and they shoot a movie, and that movie is basically Clerks. So, but I kind of just expected it to be, a different vibe.
That's fair. Well, let us know your thoughts on Clerks 3 if you've seen it in the comments below. I know it's available for digital, and I think physical copies are out now already too. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. If you're a fan of the VSQ universe, it's kind of essential viewing, even though it's not necessarily the greatest thing on earth. But
I'm still
maybe
someone collection, but
maybe somebody that's older than us has some insight that we're missing, or maybe somebody that's younger than us says it's completely off base. But you know, I think it's kind of like,
Clerks 2 is fucking solid looking back, though.
Clerks 2 held up really well, and that was just its own thing. It wasn't afraid to be something new and fresh, but have some characters we knew and loved. So, and then don't forget to check out the bonus episode of the Q&A audio where Kevin's going to explain all about the Clerks 3 that never was.
Don't sue us.
All right, kids. Subscribe, like, do all the things on the net, and we will see you soon.